Q8124. The monocoque fuselage relies largely on the strength of A. Longerons and formers, B. Skin or covering, C. Bulkheads and longerons. The correct answer is B. In a monocoque fuselage design, the strength of the fuselage primarily relies on the skin or covering. The skin carries the majority of the external loads and provides the structural integrity of the fuselage without relying heavily on internal framework, such as longerons and formers. Q8125. Which parts of a fuselage prevent tension and compression from the fuselage? A. Ribs and formers, B. Longerons and stringers, C. Bulkheads and skin. The correct answer is B. Longerons and stringers are structural members in a fuselage that help prevent tension and compression forces from affecting the fuselage structure. They provide longitudinal strength and stiffness, distributing the loads along the length of the fuselage. Ribs and formers provide transverse strength and support. Q8126. Rivet gauge, or transverse pitch, is the distance between A. Centers of rivets in adjacent rows, B. Centers of adjacent rivets in the same row, C. Heads of rivets in the same row. The correct answer is A. Rivet gauge, or transverse pitch, is the distance between the centers of rivets in adjacent rows. It is typically measured in inches or millimeters. The rivet gauge is an important factor in determining the strength of a riveted joint. The greater the rivet gauge, the weaker the joint will be. Q8127. Rivet pitch is the distance between A. Centers of rivets in adjacent rows, B. Centers of adjacent rivets in the same row, C. Heads of rivets in the same row. The correct answer is B. Rivet pitch is the distance between the centers of adjacent rivets in the same row. It is typically measured in inches or millimeters. The rivet pitch is an important factor in determining the strength of a riveted joint. The greater the rivet pitch, the weaker the joint will be. Q8129. What is indicated by a black, smoky residue streaming back from some of the rivets on an aircraft? A. Filiform corrosion is occurring between the rivets and the skin. B. Intergranular corrosion is occurring between the rivets and the skin. C. Fretting corrosion is occurring between the rivets and the skin. The correct answer is C. Black, smoky residue streaming back from some of the rivets on an aircraft indicates that fretting corrosion is occurring between the rivets and the skin. Fretting corrosion is a type of corrosion that occurs when two surfaces are in contact and move relative to each other. This movement causes the surfaces to wear away, exposing fresh metal to the environment. The exposed metal then corrodes, forming a black, smoky residue. Filiform corrosion and intergranular corrosion are also types of corrosion that can occur on aircraft, but they do not produce a black, smoky residue. Filamentous corrosion is a type of corrosion that occurs when a metal is exposed to a corrosive environment. The corrosion forms as a series of thin, thread-like filaments. Intergranular corrosion is a type of corrosion that occurs at the grain boundaries of a metal. The corrosion forms as a series of pits or cracks at the grain boundaries. Fretting corrosion is a serious problem on aircraft because it can weaken the structure of the aircraft. The black, smoky residue can also be a fire hazard. If you see black, smoky residue streaming back from rivets on an aircraft, it is important to have the aircraft inspected by a qualified mechanic.